So, as many of you may know, the people of Lebanon are no strangers to corruption. Whether it's because of the electricity outages, stealing the people's money, turning people from different ethnicities against each other, or polluting our beaches, lakes, rivers, and streams. The government always seems to find a way to keep the population in a never ending whirlwind of crisis.
In this video, we will be interviewing two different groups of people, each consisting of 4 people. The first group will be an all Lebanese-based group where we will ask these people to express their opinions on certain topics about their homeland. As for the second group, it will be a mixture of different people from around the world who will be asked to answer a few questions about Lebanon as well. Okay, so can you just introduce yourself for me?
Hi, I'm Lisa Sheet. I am 16 and I'm from Lebanon.
My name is Maxime Arawi. I'm 17 and I'm Lebanese.
My name is Dani Tarabay. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Lebanon.
I'm 17. My name is Hadi Ghazali and I'm from Lebanon.
Okay, first we will begin with questions about the civil war since that is when corruption emerged. Do you agree with the statement I just made?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, first of all, did the civil war in 1975 begin for political purposes or for multi-religious purposes, in your opinion?
It started due to political purposes and it just kept expanding and becoming worse and worse due to religions fighting over many problems.
I think it started for multi-religious purposes because the religions at that time were fighting over control and power.
In my opinion, it began because of multi-religious purposes because the diversity of religions really had different opinions and that caused many disagreements.
Okay. Do you think that the presence of non-Lebanese armed groups contributed to the disintegration of Lebanese society and the increase in sectarian slogans?
Yes, because when other countries got involved in our politics, it made it worse.
To a certain extent, the presence of non-Lebanese people in Lebanon caused jobs for Lebanese people to be taken away, a lot of areas to be taken by the non-Lebanese. And but on the other hand, they're also beneficial to Lebanon because they help with some of the stuff that Lebanese people aren't always willing to do, like the very minimalistic jobs and take minimum wages in a way.
So I'm just going to ask you a few yes or no questions. Do you think that the corruption in Lebanon is political?
Yes.
Yeah, heavily.
Do you think it's administrative?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's corruption in every type.
Financial.
Of course. Yeah, Lebanon used to have, I mean, we were very famous for having the best banking system in the Middle East. I mean, all of my family were either lawyers or bankers. And if you look at Lebanon now, we have hyperinflation and we've been having hyperinflation for almost 2 years now. And the money supply in Lebanon is completely, it's changing every now and then. You don't know when you can take your money out of the banks. And when, every month, there's a specific bank that shuts down. There's a bank run every 2 weeks in Lebanon by specific branches. It's completely, it just went downhill. And I think it's mostly financial because now no one could trust a Lebanese bank, whereas in 30, 40, even 10 years ago, you had the Gulf citizens, Saudis and Kuwaitis, they all used to have their money in Lebanese banks.
Just the final question right now. What do you think is the anti-corruption mechanism?
I think that the entire system needs to be changed. The way that the officials are elected, the way the constitution and everything should be changed.
Yeah.
Bring in better financial advisors and bring in a military rule. And by a military rule, I mean bring in the military takes over the country instead of the government, which could get rid of our corrupt politicians.
Okay, thank you.
My ultimate goal in life is to fix the inflation and the economic system of Lebanon, bring it back to the golden days. And I have a couple plans myself. First of all, we need reforms in the government. We need to wipe out the entire parliament. We need to make Lebanon a completely secular nation. We don't, religion should not have a single act, or it should not play a single role in politics, because religion and politics, as you've seen throughout history, never works. It ruins countries, it separates people, it ends up killing thousands.
That they have to all come together and believe in themselves as a country, as Lebanese people, not as religious people, not as people following any sort of leader. They should just come together, talk about them supporting Lebanon, not them supporting their specific religions, not them supporting their specific leaders.
Okay, so just introduce yourself for me.
Hi, I'm Zaki, I'm 16 and I'm Jordanian.
I'm 18 years old and I'm from Egypt.
I'm 21 and I'm from UAE.
My name is Igor, I'm 17 and I'm from Serbia.
First of all, in Lebanon, there are many different political parties or sectors, and each of these sectors have leaders who are involved in the politics of the country. Do you think that political sectarianism has a role in corruption in Lebanon?
Well, of course it does.
I think it has a big role in corruption in Lebanon because it divides the population into multiple sections and each one has their own beliefs, and the corruption can spread throughout the sectors without anyone knowing.
That's true. Okay. As you may know, Lebanon is a parliamentary democratic republic, meaning the people elect the members of the representative council, who in turn elect the president of the republic. With that being said, do citizens have a role in corruption?
Well, I don't think citizens per se have a role in corruption, but I think they don't have that much of a role in their government because the country may appear democratic, but from the inside it is corrupt and people control the voting and everything.
Okay.
Yes, of course they do in a way. They know exactly who they're voting into the parliament and as their president. They know who they are, even if they don't agree with their political views, they still will vote them. So yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. Because like when they vote for the person that they of their religion rather than the one that they feel is more adequate, then that's feeding into the corruption. And when they pick someone who's corrupt, even though they know he's corrupt, but just because they like him or there's like their society like accepts them, and that's corrupt.
Yes, citizens do have a role in corruption because when the whole corruption started in Lebanon, we as citizens didn't really try to stop it. We just let it go on, and we ourselves took advantage of it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the first thing you said. The political system in Lebanon is completely different in real life than how it is on paper. So, for example, I can't be president if I'm not a Maronite Christian. I can only become vice president because of my religion. And the people, no matter how many votes you get as an individual, in the end, you can only reach a certain extent of power before before an external party just comes and takes over everything you built. And I mean, if you're new to Lebanon, then you don't know this, but votes are bought, votes are influenced, by sectors, even by force. Sometimes I've seen in my own city people forced into voting for a specific party even though they do not support it.
No.
Why?
Because the votes can be corrupted from the bigger people in the government, from the people who represent the country.
Do you think that the economic collapse in Lebanon is caused by corruption?
Not only by corruption, but yes, corruption can be one of the reasons. It is one of the reasons of the economic downfall of Lebanon.
It seems like some of them are they either just don't care or like they're focused on one part of everything and they just completely forget about the other part. So yeah.
Okay. So final question, do you think that the explosion that occurred in Beirut is related to corruption?
Definitely, 100%. It's just it's basically just carelessness. They're not looking at the whole picture. They're just, like I said, they're always focused on one area, or they just don't care at all.
Yes, and it's also related to the government being lazy to do their job, because they were supposed to make sure everything is safe a few years ago, and they were there for a few years now.
Should I say hi or not?
Okay, so just
Hi, Faris.
Hi Maya, can I tell us your age? Where are you from? I'm Imarat.
I'm staring at the board behind you, so I don't stare into your face.
I'm 16 and I'm from Jordan.
State.
Hi, Miss McDonald.